everybody, it's Kateriix, and welcome back to Niche. We are playing with the Ultramarine tribe today. I decided to do something just a little bit different. I decided that I was not going to do a live commentary as I was playing the game. So I've actually recorded this last night, and then today I'm just talking over it because I figured, why not do something a little bit different, experiment just a little bit and see how it goes. So part of the reason why I thought that might be a good idea is because I thought maybe I can bring a slightly better commentary to you guys while you watch the game. And also, you know, sometimes I can play a game, but I can't actually record a game like with the live commentary because, you know, just noises, and, you know, if my boyfriend is home and he's watching TV, I'm not gonna like banish him to a different room so that I can do my YouTube thing. So last night I just really felt like playing Niche, so I decided to just give it a go with my favorite tribe. So I mean, this time around I have decided that this may very well be the last episode that we play with this particular tribe. And the reason why is because I feel like we have successfully played in the oasis. With this tribe, my goal was, you know, I want to have really great water creatures with really great water genetics, and then I wanted to kind of conquer the oasis using fishing as like my #1 source of food, just because that's something that I never did before. So I feel like at this point I have successfully accomplished that, and I really don't want to move off of the oasis. I want this to be this Ultramarine tribe's home, and I feel like I have successfully done what I came here to do. So this is actually the last baby that Nighthawk is going to have, and then I will be moving on to a different generation as these guys get a little bit older. So before I started recording, I decided that I was going to mate Chickadee and Nightingale and Mockingbird and Pigeon. So those are going to be my next 2 breeding couples, and then everyone else is really just going to hang out and get in and out of the water and grab some shells, grab some koi fish. I really like these 3 ladies that you're seeing now. This is Kareem, Plover, and Bluebird, and they do an absolutely excellent job of just going to the left and just digging from the bottom the entire time for the entire episodes, which is fantastic for me. I felt like I really like that, and I really realized that the duckbill is so fantastic, and it was something that I didn't plan on breeding in, but it was just a random mutation that we got, and it's great. Honestly great. So yeah, here's me again, reminding myself, who am I mating Mockingbird with? And that was definitely Pigeon, so I decided to move her towards him. And of course, every time I can grab some fishes, that is just excellent. And you'll also see at a point I start kind of getting rid of berry bushes as well as cactuses, because I kind of wanted to prove to myself that yes, I absolutely can survive on this oasis island purely by fishing. So I didn't end up getting rid of all of them. And oh, we got Ducro, and he of course became the perfect water creature. Besides him not having the duckbill, he has 2 claws and a fishing tail, which is really all that I can ask for. And then I'm also trying to get in the big ears, but that's mostly just because I really like them, not necessarily because we need them for any particular reason. So of course Chickadee is getting older, and I believe that her mate Nightingale is almost about that age too. So about halfway through the video I'm going to start breeding in those couples as well. Blackbird over here is doing an excellent job of collecting all of these berries. But I think probably next turn, going to start just getting rid of them. Just so, like I said, prove to myself, yes, you can absolutely have a 100% fishing tribe. Although, of course, I am getting the extra berries. There you go. There's the first bush I decided to get rid of. I'm definitely getting the extra berries by getting rid of these bushes. But yeah, it is so great, and it feels so nice to have such a successful tribe. And I really, really enjoyed playing with these guys. Oh, that's something that I keep forgetting about. So Bluebird, I always accidentally choose to play with her last, and I forgot like 3 turns in a row that she has a parasite on her, and that's not the first or last time I'm going to be doing this in this particular episode. I was honestly getting frustrated with myself. And I think part of the reason for that is like halfway through this playthrough, I realized that I actually had my volume completely turned off. And by having my volume turned off, I was not hearing like the little whimpers that your niche creatures have when they're getting hurt. And that happens at the beginning of every turn when they have a parasite on them. And honestly, with that notification bar on the right, if you guys watch my videos, you know that I don't actually really like it. And to be honest, I really don't even pay attention to it. So I'm almost always just listening for those sound cues, and that almost always doesn't work out for me. Like, with not having my sound on, I had no idea what was going on, and I didn't realize that I didn't have my sound on because there was so much going on around me with people being home, and like the TV was on and this and that. So it's not like I was sitting in complete silence. But I do eventually realize it and turn it on, and then I think my gameplay definitely improves after that. Another reason why I didn't really want to continue playing with this tribe is because if I went to a different island, which I didn't want to do anyways, because I feel like the oasis is their home, as I was saying before, but if I did go to a different island, then I would only be able to fish in the sea unless I was lucky enough to get a lot of rivers. And unfortunately, with the way the game is, I find it very difficult, especially after a recording is done, to see the creatures that are in the water. At least for me. I mean, you guys know that I don't have like the best eyesight either. I wish I could show you guys what it was like, even with my glasses. I'm not joking around when I say that I am quite there. You can see I turned on my volume because I realized that it wasn't on. So there you go. For the rest of the game, I realize it, I turned it on, we're good to go. And then of course, like, I'm always doing my best to grab as much fish, and then there's also a point in time where I start taking my creatures out of the middle little lake or pond, or however you would like to say it. I always feel like it's a little too small to call a lake, but it's a little bit bigger than a pond. This little area that we have of water in the middle is something that, with all the kois, I really want my best fishers in the middle. So I ended up taking out everybody who had like a nimble finger. You absolutely had to have 2 claws and a fishing tail in order to be in the middle so you could grab the kois. If you didn't, I eventually moved all of you out into the sea. And at this point, I realized that I bring quite a few creatures into the water, and quite a few creatures in this playthrough actually die because they don't have water body, and I was putting them in the water, or, you know, I had them destroying cactuses, so they died faster. And I did realize that I was doing that, but I did also kind of have this thought that I want to get my population down a little bit. So I feel every time that your tribe reaches around 30 members, it gets a little less fun for me, and I feel a little bit more disconnected to my tribe. And here it is, finally, after so many turns, me getting that leech off of Bluebird. I am so sorry, Bluebird. I truly, truly am sorry. So yeah, that's what I mean. Playing with a tribe that is very large, I feel a little bit disconnected, as I was saying, and I enjoy having smaller tribes. So I know the creatures, and I love the creatures, and I know them by their names. That's just something that in a bigger tribe I forget a lot. I don't have it in me to remember all of these creatures. I'd rather have a smaller tribe where I can think of some kind of story in my head, even if I don't necessarily share it, because I know I'm not much of a storyteller in my niche playthroughs, but in my head, everybody kind of does have like a small personality. And that's another thing. I think that maybe if I do commentary after the fact, I can maybe start sharing more of the storytelling side with you guys. But I mean, that's up to you. So if you guys like it or you don't like it, you guys just let me know, and I mean, we'll figure it out. I just feel like I'm just experimenting at this point with my channel and the things that I would like to do and like to put on my channel. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. I think this carnivore that we just had is actually the last one that we get in this playthrough, which is good. They were catching me by surprise at first because I couldn't hear my niche creatures getting hit, as I said, because the volume was not on. But here we go. Chickadee is definitely old enough, and I think we're gonna find Nightingale at some point. Of course, this is Thrush, and he's just gonna do his thing. Nightingale is somewhere. He has big ears, and he has melanism, so we will figure it out. And I mean, for everyone else, we do definitely start losing like a lot of numbers. Oh, there's a Nightingale right there. So he is actually still a little bit too young. And I noticed that he was getting cold, and I had no idea why. And it was like just a really weird thing that happened, because throughout all of this series of our ultramarine tribe, I have not had a single creature get cold, considering this is the oasis where it is supposed to be really hot. So I don't know what was happening there, but I decided like it was at this point that I needed to bring Nightingale closer to Chickadee, and then I also needed to find Mockingbird and Pigeon and get them together so I can start working on our next generation. So we've lost quite a few creatures. We had like almost 30, now we're down to 21, and of course I'm just using these 3 to go along the map and get rid of all these cactuses. And I decided to do that, like I said, because I wanted to challenge myself and fish only, and then getting rid of the cactuses, even though I really haven't collected from them this whole time, I wanted to make sure that I didn't even have the opportunity to do such a thing, because there would be nothing other than being able to fish. And I decided to make these guys get rid of the cactuses in groups, because sometimes cactuses make you bleed. So I wanted to make sure that that did not happen. So that was very, very important. And as for everyone else, I mean, we got quite a few creatures that are getting very old, like Dukir here. And there were a couple times where I thought maybe I should breed some of these creatures, because I mean, there are a lot of creatures that I like, but in the end, I didn't. In the end, I just stuck with our 2 breeding pairs that I decided at the beginning of the video. So that is, yeah, that's it. Anyways, guys, as far as the game goes, I'm really enjoying the 0.5 update right now, and I recently just saw a post on the niche forums that was collecting the niche patterns so that you guys could see what all of them look like. So I would definitely go to the forum and check that one out, because I thought it was really, really cool. So right now we have Mockingbird in the nest. We are finally working on our next generation, and here I am kind of deciding what do I want to put in the mutation menu. I'm so glad that I do not have to put water body in the mutation menu anymore at all, period. So what I actually went with was the fishing tail and the big ears, and I was so happy to see this creature here, because at the very beginning of this series, somebody asked me to name a white niche creature swan, and they wanted me to make a nest on this little hexagon that is actually just above Mockingbird right now, and make a nest there for that particular creature to have babies, for our swan to have her babies there. And I would definitely like to do that. I don't get to that in this video. She doesn't get old enough. But I mean, I'm so happy that I could finally name a creature Swan because it was an albino. And here's where I realized, whoa, Mockingbird, you actually got frozen. You were actually cold enough to get frozen. I don't know how that happened. It was like some weird little glitch. But now, of course, he's old enough and him and Chickadee can also have children. So I decided to just make a nest in the water since I couldn't get her out to the nest on land. And I figure, you know, everybody has water body now, so I don't have to worry about it. And then this is where I decided, you know what? One of our creatures, and I believe that it is Bluebird, has stripes. And I really, really like the stripes. So I wanted to start incorporating stripes because so far all of our creatures have really been no patterns or panda pattern. Which, you know, panda pattern is fine, but when you've looked at it for your entire tribe playthrough, I thought it would be nice to have stripes. So I decided to go with dots. That way I could mutate the new pattern. So that's what I did there, and I will continue to do that with Chickadee and Nightingale's children, and then I will just put the big ears and the fishing tail in for Mockingbird and Pigeon's children. Here I am again, and there you go. I've killed so many creatures just getting rid of these cactuses and stuff. But you know what? I thought it was a necessary evil because of what I wanted to do. So Magpie is also very close to death as well. I don't remember having him hit anything, but he's lost a lot of life. I think the carnivore got to him. And I already said I love what these three ladies are doing. They just like dig through like this whole huge area, and it was really great. And to have like almost 300 food was amazing because I haven't had that the entire time that we've played. We've always been hovering around 100. So I feel like that really made a big difference in what we were doing. So I'm getting ready to skip the day here and get to our next generation of babies. And I'm super excited to do that. So let's check them out. We have Relaire, and she has 2 claws. She did not grab the fishing tail, which I'm a little sad about, but she has great eyes. She has the water body, of course. She did not grab the duckbill, but she does have it in the recessive. And then, of course, Anasi, another albino child, which is the perfect fisher with the duckbill or the platypus beak, whatever you want to call it, and the fishing tail and the 2 claws. It is amazing. I absolutely loved it. I decided to, of course, change their names, and I realize now that I've done that I actually spelt that name wrong. So maybe I'll go fix that. But it doesn't quite matter. I just had a lot of fun with this particular playthrough, knowing that I would probably try to voice over it later and just trying something different. And I had so much fun with it because I actually wanted to play it. I have to admit that sometimes when I go to record Niche, I'm not really in the mood to play Niche, even though I absolutely adore the game. Like, it is definitely one of my favorite games. Of course it is, or else I wouldn't have decided to make a YouTube channel that mostly features my Niche gameplay. But it's just so much fun. But sometimes with all games, you do get a little burnt out on them. So that is why I decided that I was just gonna go for it and maybe show you guys later what I did, which would be right now for me, which is whenever you're watching for you. So it's great. It's something different, and I think that I might do this again if you guys like it. This is kind of going to be the finale of this particular tribe, as I was saying, but at the same time, I might do it again. And there's a leech who's just waiting to grab my creature, who it most certainly will grab. And of course, both of those creatures are alone, which is a pain in the butt completely. So I end up bringing the 2 of them together, even though they are pretty far away. So there are a couple of turns there where they very unfortunately take some damage from the leeches, which is okay, because like I said, I don't really mind having a smaller tribe, and a smaller tribe is also less mouths to feed now that I am, of course, destroying all of our food, all of our cactuses and our berries, which is all of our extra food that is not from fishing. This is great, guys. Like, honestly, this game is probably one of the best games ever, and I absolutely love it. So I guess you guys enjoy it too, because this is the thing that you guys watch the most when it comes to my channel, at least. And I feel like everyone else's channel that does watch niche, I find that, at least the ones that I watch, I find that it's quite popular on their channels compared to some of the things that they also release. And that's great, and I really hope that the devs sell more copies. I would absolutely love for them to have all the success in the world, because they have made the absolute best community that there is, that I've ever seen in a game, and they listen to everything that everyone has to say, and even though they might not implement everything, they implement a lot of things that us as a community want, and I think that is one of the best things that you could possibly have in a developer. And here we have Rofanku, and he of course is another perfect creature. This is another reason why I've decided that I think it's going to be the finale. I believe I've already said this, of course, but having all these creatures that honestly are just getting the perfect genetics. Like, I feel like I don't have to work on anything anymore. I feel like we are so successful, and there is a point here where I do decide I took Mockingbird out of the nest because I actually didn't want Mockingbird and Chickadee to have babies on the same turn. So that was me just trying to control the population a little bit so I don't go baby crazy, because you guys know I go baby crazy all the time, and I definitely don't want to leave myself and my tribe hungry. So that's why I've decided to do them at different times. And then I also did want the mutation menu to be a little bit different for them, because Nightingale and Chickadee have big ears. I felt that I didn't want to put big ears in the mutation menu for their children, but I did want to do it for Mockingbird and Pigeon's children, because of course I want the big ears, which are so beautiful, and I wish my tribe could always have them. Always, every time. I would also love if they brought like new ears and new genetics. I feel like they will do that eventually, even though I know that we are coming pretty close to the full release of the game, and I think they're going to update it a heck of a lot less frequently than they have been doing. Okay, so we have Miko, and she is also I still find her a great and perfect fishing creature, even if she doesn't have the platypus beak, because just having water body, 2 claws, and a fishing tail is that not the max amount of fishing you can have? Because I believe that it is, and that's what would make them the best creatures, at least for this particular series where we're just trying to get food by fishing. And here I am with these guys, helping them out, getting rid of their parasites. I am so happy that I could do that, even though, of course, they are both very close to death at this point, and they won't last much longer. But that is great. So, of course, I'm gonna get Chickadee and Nightingale to have more babies, and I believe there's at least once where I put her in the nest, or maybe it's Mockingbird in the nest, even though I have both of them in the nest, so I didn't mean to do that, but it does happen. But that's alright. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, not having big ears is actually perfectly fine. It's just something that I find aesthetically very pleasing. And on the note of what I was talking about before was getting different genetics. I would love some different ears. I would love to see maybe like a clipped ear, like a very small ear, like, you know, some dogs where they get their ears clipped. Some breeds of dogs, some people do that, which I think is a terrible thing to do, but it does happen. But I think it would look interesting on a niche creature. And then, of course, I mean, you could do like bunny ears, of course. I think I've said this before, at least once. Those are my ideas anyway. I did also notice someone recently was suggesting putting like a lion's mane, and I figured that could definitely work for some niche creatures, like having different manes for the male creatures would be absolutely fantastic, I think, just to make things just slightly different. But regardless, so many new genetics can of course come out of this game, and I think so many patterns and stuff have finally come out in the 0.5 update. There's like all the different densities and the patterns and the thicknesses and like all this crazy stuff. There's like so many options for the new patterns, and all of them look so super neat and fantastic. And I think when you do the math and you put all of those different kinds of patterns you can have together, we're talking about like over like hundreds and hundreds of different kinds of patterns, which is absolutely fantastic. And I feel like that probably took so much effort, and I just think it's amazing. And I think that they could continue to do things like that and have all these different genetics, hopefully not ones that you have to unlock. Like doing it kind of the same way that they did the patterns. Maybe not as many as the patterns, mind you, but very, very close to just having all these different, the possibilities are endless. That's all I'm truly trying to say, is that the possibilities with the genetics in this game are freaking endless, and I just can't wait to see where this game is in another year. Because even though I know when the full release happens that there will be less frequent updates, the devs have said that they will probably continue to work on it because it's like a work of passion and a work of love, and I love that. That just makes me love the game more, which is fantastic. Either way, we are definitely getting to the end of the video, so these are the last babies we are going to see. So let's take a look, shall we? So we have Reem, who did not grab the fishing tail. Unfortunately, she did not. And then, of course, we have Kateriix, who also did not grab it, but he looks fine either way. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!